Yay Media Group.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Szabo, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G. Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Nick Adams. Just kidding. I'm Anna. Hello. It's actually just me right now, and you're probably wondering, what? What are you doing? Anna, hello. Where is everybody? Well, I just wanted to record a little intro for this week's episode. If you've been around for a long time, you might recognize the title of this episode, and if you're new, you might be wondering, why does it say revisiting? Well, okay, so last week we got the biggest news in Taylor Swift history, which was the fact that Taylor Swift was able to buy back her masters. This is absolutely incredible, incredible news, and last week's episode is all about that. But in light of this, we got so many messages from new fans or regular old-fashioned day one, Tay one fans who just needed a refresher on why Taylor Swift was re-recording her work in the first place. Why is it such a big deal that she bought back her masters? What exactly happened? So at the very start of this podcast, nearly 4 years ago, one of the very first episodes that we ever posted was a breakdown of the legal and emotional battle between Taylor Swift, her old record label, Scooter Braun, and everything that happened in between that led to Taylor re-recording her work. We actually started this podcast alongside Taylor Swift releasing her first re-recorded album, Fearless. So this episode dates back to 2021. So you're going to hear our young voices from 4 years ago, and also all of the things that we were feeling at that time as well. This is great news that Taylor Swift got to, buy her masters and re-own all of her work. And it's just so incredible. And we're so proud of her. And every single time that Taylor would announce a re-record, 1989 Taylor's version, Red Taylor's versions, the ones that we did get, every single time that would happen, people would, wonder, why was Taylor doing this in the first place? It's easy to forget. It's been a long time. So we would always redirect people back to this episode, Revenge of the Re-Recordings. But since this huge news came out last week, since we've gotten so many messages, we thought it might be easier for Swifties to find the episode if we revisit and repost it. So this week's episode is revisiting Revenge of the Re-Recordings. Again, everything you're going to hear dates back to 2021, which I guess is kind of like, if you were to listen back to debut and hear Taylor's young voice, you'll hear our young voices as well. But if you have any questions about anything that took place then, that took place now, or you just want to keep talking about Taylor Swift, you know where to find us. All the contact information is in the description of this episode. You can DM us or comment on our Instagram at the 13 Podcast. Find us on TikTok. Send us an email, whatever you prefer, or leave us a voicemail. I'm pretty sure there's still not a voicemail message set up yet, but yes, it is us. Anyway, hope you enjoy this Revisiting Revenge of the Re-Recordings episode. A little flashback for you, but we'll all be back to talk to you again next week. Enjoy!
Hello, welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Nick.
I'm Anna. Amy.
And I'm Lacey G.
And today is a big day. We are breaking down all of the drama about why Taylor is now re-recording her music. If you want the short version, a guy she doesn't like bought her music. She's going to re-record it.
To stick it to the
similarly, to stick it to the man and to devalue her old music.
Mm-hmm.
You can tune into the next episode if you want to leave now. That's the best summary so far. We have a book report to give you guys.
Crumpled up piece of paper.
Several sheets of paper in front of us breaking down pretty much the complete timeline of what's been going on and why we are here celebrating the release of Fearless, which we're going to start breaking down in the next podcast. So...
Okay, before we get into this, I want to know, y'all are going to think this is Captain Obvious because it probably really is. But I didn't realize until I started doing my Taylor Swift research. Do you know why she released her re-recording of Fearless now?
No.
Anna?
Is it because it's 4/9?
Yes.
Yeah!
4/9.
What is it? What does that mean?
Well, 4/9, she owns a fourth of her records now. Also, 4 + 9 is 13. That's why she chose to release it.
There's a couple of reasons.
Yeah. That's why she chose to release it on that date.
There's something about how she's already won a Grammy for it, so it's not going to interfere with new stuff, right?
Is that it's something? Like Evermore or something like that. Though she is, since it is re-recorded, it would be eligible.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it wouldn't be. My bad.
It is going to be eligible. And so, she can't. And the Grammys said, yes, a re-recording is eligible to win.
Oh,
Which, could you imagine if it did win?
What if so she just won for Folklore.
Right.
What if she wins again for Evermore? Then she wins again for Fearless.
What if both Evermore and Fearless are nominated?
Oh, yeah, that's true. They'd be in the same year.
And you have to pick your
I'd probably want Evermore to win, right?
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
I'm still
there's
going
just
through
so much
Fearless.
There's just so much importance in the re-recorded
Yeah.
Fearless
True.
that both. Can she split it with herself?
What if she won Fearless and then she'd be the only person to win Album of the Year for the same album?
Our queen.
That would be nuts. Before we get going too much, Lindsay, she messaged us. She listened to our Songs That Make Us Cry. And she said, OMG, Breathe by Taylor is what got me through a big breakup with my baby daddy. And I sobbed every time listening to it. Is anyone a big fan of Breathe?
Yes.
So let's jump into the Scooter Braun drama and the re-recording and why she's doing what she's doing. So we all know that Taylor is re-recording her first 6 albums, but why? So here's the backstory. We're going to give you the backstory and then just a big breakdown of what everyone said, all the statements, and then we can kind of take sides, who we think, whose side we're going to be on. I think we know.
Are we going to be a little biased?
Yeah. So back in 2004, Taylor and her family met a guy named Scott Borchetta after she performed at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville. A lot of people performed there. And Taylor, she signed with them. She was just 16. He was starting a new record label. Didn't even have a name yet when he approached them about it. And so he called it Big Machine Records. She was their first artist. And then a little later on, Taylor released Tim McGraw. It was her very first single. Her debut album came out in June of 2006. It's called Taylor Swift. So the album did pretty good. She got some good recognition for such a young artist. Taylor got a nomination for Best New Artist at the 2008 Grammys. And I love seeing who she was nominated against. Feist, Paramore,
Good one.
and Amy Winehouse, and Amy Winehouse won.
Wow.
So she also received a nomination for Album of the Year at the 2008 Academy of Country Music Awards. So not bad for a first album.
For a debut, yeah.
And so her relationship with Big Machine Records got off to a really good start. She made 6 albums with Big Machine Records. So she had Taylor Swift. She sold 5.5 million copies. Fearless, 12 million copies. Speak Now, 5 million copies. Red, 8 million copies. 1989, 10 million copies. And Reputation, 4.5 million copies. So Taylor's success really made Big Machine a pretty big player in the music industry. They didn't have a whole lot else around them. Taylor was definitely the crowned jewel of the record label.
Hang on, I got to ask our girl Anna something real quick. So looking at these numbers and all the differentiating numbers that Taylor Swift has, because they're jumping all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you feel better about our TikTok that started off super strong and then had like moments of waves in there?
Definitely. Yeah. Our social media pages are at the 13 podcast in case you're curious. And yeah, our first TikTok video did really, really well. I was like, oh my God, we're going to go viral every single time. I posted the next one and did not do the same. And I was like, okay, that's all right. We're going to keep going. But you know what? Yeah, it's just because we are much like Taylor.
But looking at these numbers, I mean, that's a vast amount of different numbers.
It is, and it's kind of surprising too. Like Reputation only sold 4.5 million copies.
I know, that was the one that got me.
Well, I'm wondering also if these numbers mean physical copies, because you have to think about streaming services as we get into like more Reputation and stuff like that. And like I personally buy every physical copy of her albums just because I'm insane. But I know a lot of people probably stop buying CDs because they're like, I don't have a CD player.
You buy a physical copy or you buy physical copies of the same album?
Yes, I bought all 8 Folklore copies. This is correct. You are right. I have multiple of each. But anyway, so in general, a record label, not the artist, are the ones that own the masters. And masters are the original recordings of the songs. So once Big Machine got successful, there was rumors that Scott was going to sell the label, thereby selling the ownership of Taylor's music to someone else.
And which, you know, at some point, that's just business. That's just kind of how it goes in the music industry. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's just kind of how it is.
Sure. And I think the difference in this whole thing, because this whole massive re-recording record deal selling, all of that is a massive, massive business deal that went on for a couple of years. For me personally, I think the difference with it being so important that it's Taylor is that for most artists, they have different people write their music or different songwriters. A lot of different people contribute to the writing of the music. But Taylor Swift solely, like, she is credited as a songwriter on every single one of her songs. And I don't think that goes for most artists. Like Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, I love them, but they're not the sole writers of their music. You know what I mean? So when other artists are like, oh, well, it's business, it's like, yeah, because 50 people go into making your song, but Taylor writes and records her song. It's like her blood and tears. So I think that's kind of the difference. So then in 2014, after the release of Taylor's album 1989, there was a rumor that Scott was looking for someone to buy Big Machine for $200 million. And Scott said, every time we have a Taylor Swift record, they're like, oh, he's selling the company. But Scott didn't rule out the future of a change of ownership, stating that, business is changing quickly. If I see an opportunity, basically, I'm going to take it. And so then her last album in the contract was Reputation, which was released in November of 2017. And that's when she refused to sign a new record deal with her 12-year contract with Big Machine, and it ended early in November of 2018. And the rumor was that she didn't sign because she wanted to own her previous released albums and her future albums, and the label didn't agree. So she left, and the masters stayed with Big Machine.
So why did Big Machine want to keep her masters? Despite managing other major country music stars, including Florida Georgia Line, Thomas Rhett, Reba McEntire, Rascal Flatts, and Lady Antebellum, a large share of Big Machine's valuation was based on its ownership of Swift's masters. Should they agree to hand over the masters to Taylor, the label's valuation would immediately plummet.
Yeah. That's where all their cash is.
So a few weeks after leaving Big Machine, Taylor signed with Republic Records and Universal Music Group in November 2018 in a deal that would give her full ownership of her new albums. And then things stayed quiet for a little bit until June 2019. And that's whenever Scott Borchetta sold Big Machine to music manager Scooter Braun's investment fund called Ithaca Holdings for a reported $300 million.
Oh my God.
Which means Scooter Braun and his company own Taylor Swift's music. How did everybody feel about Scooter Braun before this moment? Because I think that our feelings kind of shifted. But before this, did anyone have any hatred towards Scooter Braun?
I didn't.
I think I just kind of I didn't feel either way. I wasn't like, oh, Scooter's the coolest dude ever, but I wasn't like, oh, I hate him with a passion. You know what I mean? Until I heard Taylor speak out about it, very concrete.
But he seemed to be a cool guy who had cool artists up until this.
He's got a ton of people with him. Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande and Demi Lovato. Cool. He's doing good things. Great.
Sure.
But then to hear how everything played out just made me not be a fan. I'm not trying to spoil anything.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
I took a side. Yeah. I took a side for sure. So Taylor spoke out whenever this happened, and she didn't hold back how she felt at all. She wrote a long post on Tumblr saying, for years, I pleaded for a chance to own my own work. Instead, I was given an opportunity to sign back up to Big Machine Records and earn one album back at a time, one for every new one that I turned in. I walked away because I knew once I signed that contract, Scott Borchetta would sell the label, thereby selling me and my future. I had to make the excruciating choice to leave behind my past. Music I wrote on my bedroom floor and videos I dreamed up and paid for from the money I earned playing in bars, then clubs, then arenas, then stadiums. You go, girl. I love that statement right there. She went on to say that she didn't know about the sale of the label until after it was in the news. She called out some of Scooter's clients and friends like Justin Bieber, Kanye West, and Kim Kardashian for years of bullying. She said she was not given an opportunity to buy her music and said, my musical legacy is about to die in the hands of someone who tried to dismantle it. This is my worst case scenario. This is what happens when you sign a deal at 15.
Man.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We organically talk about our feelings a lot on this podcast when we connect to lyrics and special songs from Taylor Swift. And we always get so excited when the men that listen to this podcast tell us that they connect to the songs as well. But the truth is, there is a stigma surrounding men's mental health and the strength that comes from maintaining a healthy mind. Men today face immense pressure to perform and provide, and it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it's often undiagnosed. It's okay to struggle. Real strength comes from opening up about what you're carrying and doing something about it so you can be your best for yourself and everyone in your life. If you're a man and you're struggling with the weight of the world, talk to someone, a friend, a loved one, a therapist. And if you haven't tried BetterHelp, now is an excellent time. And a lot of times people think that you have to be going through something really traumatic or intense to talk to a therapist. But the truth is you can also learn positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, and even learn just how to communicate your feelings. With over 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Taylor Swift fan. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Taylor Swift fan.
She went on to say, when I left my masters in Scott's hands, I made peace with the fact that he would eventually sell them. Never in my worst nightmares did I imagine the buyer would be Scooter. Anytime Scott Borchetta has heard the words Scooter Braun escape my lips, it's when I was either crying or trying not to. He knew what he was doing. They both did, controlling a woman who didn't want to be associated with them. In perpetuity. Is that a word?
Perpetuity.
In perpetuity. What does that mean?
It's a big word.
Forever.
Indefinitely.
Forever. Indefinitely.
Yeah, in perpetuity. That means forever. Oh, that means forever. Sorry. Thankfully, I left my past in Scott's hands and not in my future. And hopefully young artists or kids with musical dreams will read this and learn how to better protect themselves in a negotiation. You deserve to own the art you make. I will always be proud of my past work. Sad and grossed out, Taylor.
And I don't know when it was that she said it. I don't know if it was like in this statement or later on somewhere she had said that she decided to bet on her future.
Yes.
And I thought that was really cool because that's when it put it into perspective for me, where she was like, I'm confident that I will continue to make great music. And then she put out Lover and then Folklore, and everyone was like, girl, you were right. Like, she believed in herself, and that's what I took away from
Absolutely.
that.
So Taylor is really setting the tone for what's going to start getting pretty ugly here, and she's not holding back. And when she posted this, she included a picture of Justin Bieber that he had posted. It's a screenshot that Justin had posted on Instagram. He's on FaceTime with Scooter and Kanye, all people she doesn't like. She also doesn't like Justin for years of him being on and off with Selena Gomez. There's some bad blood there. And so when Justin posted this on Instagram a few years before, he said, Taylor Swift, what's up? And so she just included this as a way of saying, like, hey, guys, I'm not lying here when I tell you that they've kind of been harassing me and bullying me for some time. Here's some proof. And so then Scott, he posted a really long message on Big Machine's website. It's really long. And he said that Taylor was aware of the sale. Taylor said she wasn't. Scott said, quote, Taylor's dad, Scott Swift, who was a shareholder in Big Machine Records, was alerted 10 days before the sale that there would be a shareholder meeting. 5 days later, shareholders were given all the info about the potential sale to Scooter Braun. 3 days later, a vote was held, and the sale passed with a 3 of 5 shareholders voting yes. Scott said he personally texted Taylor before the announcement was going to be made so that she could hear it directly from him. Scott wrote, I guess it might somehow be possible for her dad, Scott, or several other people connected to Taylor that they didn't say anything to her. I guess it's possible that she might have not seen my text, but I truly doubt that she, quote, woke up to the news when everyone else did.
Hold on. Whenever you get a text message, do you check it immediately, or whenever you're busy, do your text messages just build up? Because I won't check all of my text messages always.
And I imagine she has like a bajillion notifications.
Exactly. Are y'all the same way, or do you check every message as soon as it comes in?
Me personally, I'm checking every message as soon as it comes in.
Me too. I hate the window. I have 0 unread emails. But if Taylor says she didn't see it, she didn't see it.
But also, and also, I am a Swiftie here. I'm not taking anyone's side, but if the guy who you assume is going to be selling your music at some point texts you, you're not going to read that?
No.
But I could just see her having all the notifications and not checking them all the time. I'm not a crazy person. I don't like all the notifications, but my screens are not just blank all the time because I don't check absolutely everything. And I forget to respond to text messages. I forget to check them till the end of the day. So I'm just saying I believe her.
Yeah, by the end of the day, everything's cleared up.
Sure. And so Scott went on to provide screenshots of the deal that he was offering Taylor to stay at Big Machine. He said that the new deal said, quote, 100% of all Taylor Swift assets were to be transferred to her immediately upon signing a new agreement. We were working together on a new type of deal for our streaming world that is not necessarily tied to albums, but more of a length of time. We are an independent record company. We do not have tens of thousands of artists and recordings. My offer to Taylor for the size of our company was extraordinary. Taylor had every chance in the world to not just own her master recordings, but every video, photograph, everything associated with her career, and she chose to leave. Scott said he did not know how Taylor felt about Scooter. He said that he was aware that she didn't get along with people like Justin Bieber. He said Scooter was never anything but positive about Taylor. He called me directly about Taylor performing at Manchester. She declined. That was after when Ariana Grande performed there after there was a bombing at her show. So he's kind of taking a dig at Taylor for her not performing there.
Nice.
That's what he's doing.
Classy.
She would not perform there. Scooter also called me directly to see if Taylor would participate in the Parkland March. She declined. That was after there was a shooting at a school in Florida.
I personally believe in this situation that, like, if I'm on Taylor's team of people, and Scooter Braun reaches out for an event, I'm not even going to tell Taylor that Scooter reached out. You know what I
Could be.
mean?
Yeah.
Like in this instance, I would more so believe that she didn't know about it than like anything.
And how much has she done for people in need where she's donating and GoFunding, and she does all this in private and not because she wants a big thank you, but then they're going to point this out like, Taylor, you're a bad person because you didn't do this.
Yeah, and well, what makes me angry about that is that also in this statement, they're not saying who the other artist who declined to perform there. I don't remember who performed there, but we're not calling out Justin Timberlake for not performing there. We're not calling out Cher for not performing there. We're calling out Taylor. 100 people probably declined for various reasons.
Yeah.
And so you're going to call out Taylor? Whatever. Scott said, Scooter has always been and will continue to be a supporter and honest custodian for Taylor and her music. Scott shared a screenshot of the contract that he sent Taylor's management team and attorney. It was labeled TS Proposal. It was dated August 15th, 2018. And it said that Big Machine agreed that, quote, upon execution of a new contract, Big Machine shall assign all TS recordings, artwork, photographs, and other materials relating to her to Taylor. Taylor's team was asking for a new 7-year contract, allegedly, and Big Machine wanted a longer one, like a 10. That's the rumors of what's going on there.
So after all of this, it caused a lot of drama in the industry with executives and artists that were publicly taking sides. So the ones that basically took Taylor's side were Selena Gomez, of course, Halsey, Ed Sheeran, Katy Perry, Gigi Hadid, Ruby Rose, Cher, Todrick Hall, I'm on a first name basis with
We
Todrick.
all know who Todrick is on this podcast.
Todrick Hall, Camila Cabello, and then the ones that took Scooter's side are the ones that are on his label. Justin Bieber, Demi Lovato, Sia, his wife.
The list is noticeably shorter.
Yeah,
right?
Well, because a lot of artists were kind of saying, like big picture, yes, artists should own their own work.
And, also to maybe take a little bit of Scooter's side on this, a lot of people probably aren't going to publicly support him because it's a bad look. Where you may just stay quiet when you quietly support Scooter in the business end. You know what I mean? Whereas a lot of Taylor's best friends are just going to be outspoken. They don't really have a connection with Scooter anyways, so they'll just go for it.
Myself included, I'm out there tweeting like, go Taylor!
So Justin Bieber responded by posting a picture of him and Taylor even when they were young. He wrote in the caption he was sorry for posting the screenshot of his call with Kanye and Scooter. He said it was all him and they had nothing to do with it at all. And he said Scooter even told him not to post it. And he wrote, quote, Scooter had your back since the days you graciously let me open for you. As the years have passed, we haven't crossed paths and gotten to communicate our differences, hurts or frustrations. So for you to take it to social media and get people to hate on Scooter isn't fair. What were you trying to accomplish by posting that blog? Seems to me like it is the best way to get sympathy. You also knew that in posting that your fans would go and bully Scooter. Anyway, one thing I know is both Scooter and I love you. I feel like the only way to resolve conflict is through communication.
And so was that an apology?
No.
It was kind of
Excuse.
hey, I'm sorry, but I'm still not sorry.
It started as I feel like he didn't proofread it. Like it started as an apology, being like, hey, this is all me, but now while I'm here, while I'm typing this, let me, you know what I mean?
But he's also playing the victim and saying, oh, you're bullying us after I have bullied you. Oh,
Sure.
Sorry for bullying you, but now you're bullying us, which fans don't need to go for anybody anyway. I mean, I don't understand all the death threats, and Taylor's fans were like going for Scooter and his family.
Yeah,
and
it was
the
bad. I
kids.
hated it. It was awful.
Yeah.
Let Taylor handle it. We can support her, say, you go, girl. We don't need to be the one saying, hey, Scooter, go kill yourself. And then Scooter's wife, Yale, she hit back at Taylor with a really long Instagram post. She was saying, she's told Taylor, you were given the opportunity to own your masters, you passed. Interesting that the man you're so grossed out by believed in you more than you believe in yourself. Your dad's a shareholder and was notified, and Scott Borchetta personally told you before this came out. So no, you didn't find out with the rest of the world. And girl, who are you to talk about bullying? The world has watched you collect and drop friends like wilted flowers.
Ouch.
Beyond that, it's easy to see the point of pulling this out was to get people to bully him. You are supposed to be a role model, but continue to model bullying. Don't blame him because Kim caught you in a lie. It's embarrassing. I know, but adults own up to their own mistakes. We learn and grow from them. Also, later, we find, this will be a whole other podcast, we find out that Taylor was not lying. She was telling the truth the whole time, but we didn't know it at this point. Back to Yale. Scott, apparently is his real name, Scooter, was excited to work with you and build with you. How embarrassing this temper tantrum is because you didn't get your own way. Lastly, if you think he can control his clients, please control your fans. Leave our personal life and kids out of this. You don't understand what line that crosses, but one day you will, and hopefully you have the dignity, class, and kindness to leave your fans out of this and have an open discussion. Tumblr can't fix this. A phone call can. So she had some harsh words.
But see, my problem with this is like at this point, it's very public. Like everybody's going back and forth on social media. It's very public, but they're making it seem like, Taylor, you should have never posted that thing on Tumblr. But it's like, this has clearly been going on behind closed doors up until now. And you just don't want Taylor to talk about it at all.
Right.
Scooter's wife's post is the one that angered me the most for some reason. I get Scooter posting about it and Scott because they're involved. But like when his wife comes into the picture, it's like, okay.
Who are you?
Like,
I completely agree. I do think with everything Taylor's saying, I do agree slightly with Yale. Taylor should have addressed it at some point and say, fans,
calm down.
Don't come for him. Later on, we're going to read in a statement where she, again, encourages people to go for Scooter, and I don't like that at all. I think Taylor should have said something because she can't control her fans. Now, unfortunately, Scooter may have gotten his hand caught in the cookie jar. Now he's just getting called out, and people don't like it. So I'm still on Team Taylor for that, but I do think she should have reined in the Swifties a little bit.
So then after that, a spokesperson for Taylor denied that her father, Scott, knew of the deal in advance, telling People magazine, quote, Scott Swift is not on the board of directors and never has been. On June 25th, there was a shareholder phone call that Scott Swift did not participate in due to the very strict NDA that bound all shareholders and prohibited any discussion at all without risk of severe penalty.
So that would be like he could be on the call, but he couldn't tell his own daughter that they were talking about selling her music.
Yeah, because that'd be illegal.
So he's like, I'm not going to join this call because they probably know what's going on.
Right. And so then Taylor's attorney said in a statement, Scott Borchetta, which, by the way, I always want to say Scott Bruschetta.
God, and I'm really hungry right now, too. That's not a good move.
So he said Scott Borchetta never gave Taylor Swift an opportunity to purchase her masters or the label outright with a check in the way he is now apparently doing for others. And so her lawyer almost never comments on artist deals, so it was really unusual for him to speak up on this case at all, and he's declined to comment beyond that one statement. And I think that says a lot.
Yeah, for sure. So Taylor released her first album after Big Machine, called Lover. It was at the end of August of 2019. On Good Morning America, Taylor spoke about why the new album is important, and she brought up what a lot of fans wanted to hear Taylor say.
I mean, one thing about this album that's really special to me is that it's the first one that I will own of my work.
I was going to wait to ask you about that, but since you went there, this is something that is very important to you, and you've also said that you're planning on re-recording some of your music. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true, and it's something that I'm very excited about doing because my contract says that starting November 2020, so next year, I can record albums 1 through 5 all over again. So,
and you'll do that.
I'm very excited about it because I think that artists deserve to own their work. I just feel very passionately about that.
So she won't be able to re-record Reputation until 2022 per her contract with Big Machine. Scooter tweeted, regardless of what has been said, the truth is you don't make big bets unless you're a believer and always have been. Brilliant album with Lover. Congrats, Taylor Swift. Supporting was always the healthier option.
So Anna, you're our legal expert.
Yes.
Tell us, how can Big Machine own her music and Taylor not own it? So how can she re-record her music like she just said she's going to do?
Yeah, well, okay, first of all, I'm not legal in anything.
Yes, you are.
I just read a thread on Twitter. But also, before I get into that, I do want to point out something really cool. Since she owns her albums from Lover on, if you notice on the artwork, her name isn't on it because she already owns it. So like Taylor Swift through Reputation, like on the cover it says Taylor Swift's Reputation, Taylor Swift 1980, whatever. Her name is on the title. But the covers for Lover, Folklore, and Evermore, her name's not on it because like she already owns it. I think that's cool.
That is cool.
I think that's pretty cool. So to the legal stuff, something that I read on Twitter, so this could be false, let me know. But I read this whole thread basically about how she was able to stop them from using her music in like commercial use, like movies, TV shows, things like that. And I thought that was really interesting because Big Machine legally owns her masters, right? But whenever a filmmaker wants to use a song in a movie, like in the background, like two people falling in love and they want to use blank space because that makes sense. they have to get 2 licenses. They have to get a sync license and a master use license. And so for the master use license, that would basically be Big Machine saying, yes, you can use this song. For the sync license, you would have to get the songwriter's approval. And Taylor's accredited songwriter on every single one of her songs.
Nice.
So since this, the reason we haven't seen her old stuff being used commercially in movies and things like that is because she blocked it every single time. Because she was like, why am I going to let you guys make money off of this? But then again, that proves my point from earlier that since she's a credited songwriter in every single one of her songs, she has that ability to do that. Whereas like if it was another artist and, you know, the record labels own their music, but they just are the singer, the performer, that they wouldn't be able to do that. But I think that's part of what makes Taylor such an incredible artist altogether, because she is the sole songwriter. Like Speak Now, she wrote all of that like on her own. Like that's incredible. And I don't think we talk about that enough. And that's why we started this podcast.
To talk about her even more. So then stuff gets crazy because then we get into the American Music Awards drama, which is another wonderful wrinkle in all of this, where we all got our blood boiling again.
The American Music Awards were honoring Taylor with the Artist of the Decade.
Woo! Woohoo!
Super big deal. And Taylor was set to perform a melody of her hits.
Medley.
What did I say?
Melody.
Dang it. Okay.
It's okay.
Is this going to be bad every time I misspeak something?
It tells you medley.
Misspeak
right?
now?
Yeah, Taylor says medley right here.
Yeah.
If you just,
okay.
I'm just
Not an expert on words, but thank you. Just Taylor Swift only. So she's set up to do this medley. Did I say it right that time?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
a medley.
It's like a
her
bunch
hits.
of songs like in a row, just like a few seconds of each song.
I get it. Thank you. But how is she able to do this if she's not allowed to perform her own music? So she went on a long social media post and said, Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun said, I'm not allowed to perform my old songs on television because they claimed that would be re-recording my music before I'm allowed to next year. Additionally, and this is why I had planned on telling you this news, Netflix had created a documentary about my life for the past few years. Scott and Scooter have declined the use of my older music or performance footage for this project, even though there is no mention of either of them or Big Machine Records anywhere in this film. Scott Borchetta told my team that they'll allow me to use my music only if I do these things. If I agree to not re-record copycat versions of my song next year, which is something that I'm both legally allowed to do and looking forward to, and also told my team that I need to stop talking about him and Scooter Braun. So they're just telling her, just shut up. So the girl who's never been allowed to talk before, now they're trying to take away even more rights from her. So she went on to say, this message being sent to me is very clear. Basically, be a good little girl and shut up, or you'll be punished. Please let Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun know how you feel about this. So she's telling people to reach out again.
That's what I didn't like. I don't like her saying that.
It wasn't like attack the children.
She knows what she's saying with that. She wants their notifications to be lit up from people who don't approve of that. You could have easily said this whole statement without that one line. It would have been great.
She also said, I've tried to work this out privately through my team, but have not been able to resolve anything. Right now, my performance at the AMAs, the Netflix documentary, and any other recorded event I'm planning to play until November of 2020 are a question mark.
So that's Taylor's side. Big Machine released a statement on their website, and it said, we were shocked to see her Tumblr statements yesterday based on false information. At no point did we say Taylor could not perform on the AMAs or block her Netflix special. In fact, we do not have the right to keep her from performing live anywhere. The truth is, Taylor has admitted to contractually owing millions of dollars and multiple assets to our company, which this is the first time we've heard this thing. She owes you money? What? We have worked diligently to have a conversation about these matters with Taylor and her team to productively move forward. We started to see progress over the last 2 weeks, and we were really optimistic as recently as yesterday that this may have gotten resolved. However, despite our efforts to find a private and mutually satisfactory solution, Taylor made the unilateral decision last night to enlist her fan base in a calculated manner that greatly affects the safety of our employees and their families. Taylor, the narrative you have created does not exist. She'll say narrative a lot in the future. She likes that phrase, or she likes that word, narrative.
Yeah.
And maybe she got it from Scott. All we ask is to have a direct and honest conversation. When that happens, you will see there is nothing but respect, kindness, and support waiting for you on the other side. To date, not one of the invitations to speak with us and work through this has been accepted. Rumors fester in the absence of communication. And so people quickly started rereading that statement. And they pointed out what Scott said. Scott said, quote, we at no point said that Taylor could not perform on the AMAs or block her Netflix special. We can't do that. That's not what Taylor is asking for. Taylor is asking to perform her music. He left that part out.
Yeah.
He's saying we're not stopping her from performing, but he left out we are stopping her from using the music that we own.
Right. Because
So
at this
he-
point, she had already released Lover.
Yeah, he had conveniently left that part out, and people were like, whoa, that statement's a little shady, and we'll see a little later that Big Machine has some other statements that get a little shady.
Nick Adams.
Yes.
I'm not pointing this out because you like
Did I
to
mess
point
up
out
a word?
how wrong I am
Yeah.
all the time. That's not why I'm pointing this out. But I would like to point out the fact that whenever they say the narrative you have created and you thought that Taylor stole it from them, no,
Oh.
actually, Taylor came out before them because she
Okay.
said, I would like very much to be left out of this narrative whenever she was talking about Kim and Kanye. And that was before Reputation came
Good
out.
point. Good point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lacey.
Yes, Lacey with the timeline.
Taylor created the word. And
Narrative.
but then that's another way that they're trying to bully her by taking her words and throwing it up in her face. Oh, you like that word narrative, do you? Well, I'm going to use that in every statement.
We stand Taylor, the creator of the word narrative.
Lacey is on the board this podcast, everybody. She's corrected me,
Thank you.
and that's okay. I appreciate being corrected.
So then following this statement that used the word narrative, Taylor's publicist came out with a statement. So it's just back and forth statement. It's basically
Receipts.
here's screenshots, everything. So Taylor's publicist came out with this statement. So it had a screenshot sent from Big Machine saying, please be advised that Big Machine will not agree to issue licenses for existing recordings or waivers of its re-recording restrictions in connection with those two projects, the Netflix documentary and the Alibaba. Did I say that right?
I think it was an event that Taylor wasn't mentioning.
Oh, the Alibaba Double 11 event. So they're using a lot of big words here, I think.
It was
just
like
to
a live
confuse us.
performance.
Yeah. So to avoid an argument over rights, Taylor performed 3 songs off of her new album Lover at the Double 11 event, as it was clear that Big Machine label group felt any televised performance of catalog songs violated her agreement. And then in addition, yesterday, Scott Borchetta, CEO and founder of Big Machine label group, flatly denied the request for both American Music Awards and Netflix. She accused Big Machine of, quote, trying to deflect and make this about money, and retaliated by maintaining that a professional auditor has determined that Big Machine owes Taylor $7.9 million of unpaid royalties over several years.
Correction.
Interesting.
So then things got a little confusing if they weren't already.
Big Machine released a joint statement with Dick Clark Productions, who's producing the AMAs, saying that they came to an agreement on letting all of their artists perform. Then Dick Clark Productions released their own statement saying, at no time did Dick Clark Productions agree to create, authorize, or distribute a statement in partnership with Big Machine label group regarding Taylor Swift's performance at the 2019 American Music Awards.
Yeah, Dick Clark Productions is like, whoa.
Don't get us involved.
We did not. We're not in this at all. That's between you guys. So Big Machine.
Said,
Yeah.
I was going to make a joke and you just said Big Machine. I was going to say, so Dick Clark Productions said, leave me out of this narrative.
Yeah.
I would like
they
to be
did.
excluded
Good
from this
job,
narrative.
Lacey. So right there, just in this whole Dick Clark Productions thing, they were caught releasing a joint statement without authorization from Dick Clark Productions. A statement before that, they were saying that Taylor owes money. Then they were saying that Taylor, we're not stopping her from performing when essentially they are stopping her
all
from
in the
performing her
wording.
music. Yeah, it's on the cleverly worded thing. So then Scooter jumped on Instagram and he spoke out to Taylor about the Swifties who are harassing his family and his employees since all this drama got started. He said, I assume this was not your intention, but it is important that you understand that your words carry a tremendous amount of weight and that your message can be interpreted by some in different ways. While disappointed that you have remained silent after being notified by your attorney 4 days ago of these ongoing threats, I'm still hopeful we can fix this. To be frank, I was shocked and disheartened to hear that my presence at Big Machine caused you so much pain. As the handful of times we have actually met, I've always remembered them to be pleasant and respectful. Knowing what I know now, and all I wanted to do is rectify the situation. I'm open to all possibilities. My attempts and calls to have an open discussion with you over the last 6 months have all been rejected. It almost feels as if you have no interest in ever resolving this conflict. At this point, with safety becoming a concern, I have no choice other than to publicly ask for us to come together and try to find a resolution. This game of telephone isn't working. As the world now knows, you can and should perform any song you would like at the AMAs. I have never and would never say otherwise. You do not need anyone's permission to do so legally, but I'm stating it here clearly and publicly so there's no more debate or confusion. He wraps this up by saying, moving forward, I would like to find a resolution. I will make myself available whenever works for you. Many have told me that a meeting will never happen. It is not about the truth or resolution, but instead a narrative for you. I am hopeful that this is not the case. I'm right here, ready to speak directly and respectfully. But if you would prefer to make large public statements while refusing to work towards resolving things amicably, then I just pray that nobody seriously gets hurt in the process. I continue to wish the best for you and hope we can resolve this. So, my thing with all that, we've heard a lot of people saying, hey, we've been trying to reach out, but no one's talking. Taylor doesn't want to talk to you.
Right.
Her people will talk to you. Taylor doesn't want to talk to you.
Catch a clue.
Well, especially
She don't
because
wanna deal with
the
you.
last time she talked to anybody from that site, it was recorded and posted on Snapchat after it was edited. So,
Right.
like, why would she do that? Why would she set herself up for that? Team Taylor, 100%, always. So then she performed at the American Music Awards, and she started off by wearing this oversized white shirt with all of her album titles on it in black. And she kicked off her set with The Man, which was not super well known at the time, but it made sense with everything going on. Woo, go Taylor! I just, God, and I just love that song so much because it does make sense to everything that's happening in this whole situation. And then something that also, not to backtrack, but from Scooter's statement that made me personally upset is the part where he was like, I didn't know that you liked me or that you didn't like me because every time we've talked, it's been pleasant. Well, yeah, no shit. Sorry. I don't know how explicit we're being, but it's like, yeah, like as a woman in the industry, if she's not nice to you in person, you're going to go around telling everybody that she's a B, you know? It's basically saying, hey, you were nice to me that one time 10 years ago, so I should own your entire discography. Like, in what world? Anyway, the same day that she performed on the American Music Awards, she was also on CBS Sunday Morning, and she spoke out about the differences in men and women in the industry.
There's a different vocabulary for men and women in the music industry, right?
Give me an example.
Okay, a man does something, it's strategic. A woman does the same thing, it's calculated. A man is allowed to react, a woman can only overreact.
God, that is so true. Mm-hmm. And I hate the word calculated. I know people say that with Taylor a lot because of her Easter eggs and things like that, but we should use a different word. I don't like the word calculated. Mm-hmm. She's not calculated, she's smart.
Anna, calm down. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Alexa, play The Man by Taylor Swift. Thank you. So then in this interview, Scooter came up.
I'm still someone who is the first to apologize when I'm wrong. I think I'm better at standing up for myself when I've been wronged. That's something that I think also comes with growing up.
Which brings us to Scooter Braun.
Yeah.
You didn't see it coming?
No. I found out when it was online, like when it hit the news.
Nobody in your inner circle
Nobody knew. I knew he would sell my music. I knew he would do that. I couldn't believe who he sold it to because we've had endless conversations about Scooter Braun. And he has 300 million reasons to conveniently forget those conversations.
Now, could you re-record?
Oh, yeah.
Might you do that?
Oh, yeah.
That's a plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
God, the power that she holds by her re-recordings are just immaculate. And then Taylor also spoke out about forgiveness.
You know, people go on and on about, like, you have to forgive and forget to move past something. No, you don't. You don't have to forgive and you don't have to forget to move on. You can move on without any of those things happening. You just become indifferent and then you move on.
Do you believe in forgiveness?
Yes, absolutely. Like, for people that are important in your life who have added, you know, who have enriched your life and made it better, and also there's been some struggle and some bad stuff too. But I think that, you know, if something's toxic and it's only ever really been that, what are you gonna do?
Just move on.
Just move on. It's fine.
I feel like that echoes the lyrics of I Forgot That You Existed.
Oh, yeah, good one. Yes, for sure. And I loved her guttural reaction to Scooter Braun. Ugh.
Giggle.
Yeah.
In December 2019, Taylor spoke about this when she accepted Billboard's Woman of the Decade award. And again, she doesn't hold back on how she feels about Scooter.
Lately, there's been a new shift that has affected me personally and that I feel is a potentially harmful force in our industry. And as your resident loud person, I feel the need to bring it up. And that is the unregulated world of private equity coming in and buying up our music as if it is real estate, as if it's an app or a shoe line. This just happened to me without my approval, consultation, or consent. After I was denied the chance to purchase my music outright, my entire catalog was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings in a deal that I'm told was funded by the Soros family, 23 Capital, and the Carlyle Group. None of these investors have ever bothered to contact me or my team directly to ask how I might feel about the new owner of my art. And of course, Scooter never contacted me or my team to discuss it prior to the sale, or even when it was announced. I'm fairly certain he knew exactly how I would feel about it, though. And let me just say that the definition of the toxic male privilege in our industry is people saying, but he's always been nice to me, when I'm raising valid concerns about artists and their rights to own their music. And of course he's nice to you. If you're in this room, you have something he needs. The fact is that private equity is what enabled this man to think, according to his own social media post, that he could buy me. But I'm obviously not going willingly. Yet the most amazing thing was to discover that it would be the women in our industry who would have my back and show me the most vocal support at one of the most difficult times, and I will never, ever forget it.
Woman of the decade.
But all the drama doesn't end there,
No,
of course.
it doesn't.
So Big Machine realized, we're going to need a lot of money. And they decided to release an album of her live performances during the time that she was with them. This was in April of 2020. What was Taylor doing in April of 2020? Oh, that's right. She was doing
She was writing folklore.
Folklore and Evermore. I think she saved us from this pandemic.
She did.
Because that was just such the bright side. Also, except for the fact that it made me feel bad for myself because I'm like, oh, Taylor out there making new music during the pandemic and I'm over here in sweats, hadn't showered in 4 days, sitting on my couch doing nothing but feeling sorry for myself. So her being successful did make me feel more sorry for myself, as a matter of fact. But it's cool. So Big Machine decided to release this live performance of her, and she went and said, I did not approve this release. And it looks like Scooter Braun and his financial backers just realized that paying $330 million for my music wasn't exactly a wise choice, and they need money. In my opinion, just another case of shameless greed in the time of coronavirus. So tasteless, but very transparent. And this performed terribly. Her fans and critics all agreed with Taylor that it was just a shameless money grab.
Yeah,
so
no
they
one
didn't
listened to it.
They didn't make the money off of her.
Well,
Good.
especially like Taylor honestly didn't have to say anything. If Big Machine releases anything that
Yeah.
has Taylor, I'm not going to listen to it.
Yeah, if you're opening up Spotify and you see all this, it's like, oh, a live performance of Taylor Swift. Wait, it's from 2008 or
No.
whenever it was from? Yeah, of course. So then in November 2020, we hadn't heard a lot. It's been since April. There was a little rumbling of that live music, but not too big of a deal. So it's been a while. We need some more drama. This needs to start back up again. Well, here we go. November 2020, Scooter Braun and Ithaca Holdings sold Taylor's catalog to another investment group called Shamrock Capital. And it's a firm that was founded by Roy E. Disney, nephew of Walt Disney.
I knew that
I
sounded
was going to say
familiar.
I was going to say Roy E. Biv.
It's Roy G. Biv, right?
Oh,
It
dang
is.
it.
Green.
Dang it.
It is.
G-
I'm sorry.
I lose again.
Lacey, we're gonna take that point away that we gave to you earlier. And so the first time that everything was being sold, Big Machine, the record label, was sold to Scooter Braun. But this time Scooter was just selling Taylor's music. So he wasn't selling Big Machine. It was just Taylor's music. And I've read a whole lot of different reports on how much that actually sold for. Some say just Taylor's had sold for $450 million.
Oh my God.
So he bought Big Machine for $300 million. And people are guessing that Taylor's portion was maybe $150 million of that. So it's tripled since then.
Wow.
Impressive. In a year. Very impressive. So a bunch of Swifties, they were hoping like, okay, is Taylor in on this deal? No, she wasn't. She posted a really long message on social media saying that Scooter's team did tell her the catalog was for sale, but, quote, Scooter's team wanted me to sign an ironclad NDA stating I would never say another word about Scooter Braun unless it was positive before we could even look at financial records of Big Machine Records, which is always the first step in a purchase of this nature. So I would have to sign a document that would silence me forever before I could even have a chance to bid on my own work. She said negotiations never got underway because she never signed the NDA. The NDA was too strict. She said, quote, he would never even quote my team a price. These master recordings were not for sale to me. Taylor said that she was alerted about the sale only after it had already gone down. She got a letter from the new owners, and she said, quote, the letter told me they wanted to reach out before the sale to let me know, but Scooter Braun required them to make no contact with me or my team or the deal would be off. She says the company reached out to her in hopes of working together on her catalog, future ventures, and stuff like that. But then the company said that Scooter would continue to benefit from her music under the terms of the new deal. So even though Scooter doesn't own it anymore, he's still going to be getting a kickback somewhere along the line. So Taylor said, I was hopeful and open to the possibility of a partnership with Shamrock, but Scooter's participation is a non-starter for me. Taylor included a copy of the letter she sent to Shamrock, saying she would not work with them since Scooter is still in there making money. She said, I will be going forward with my original re-recording schedule. I know this will diminish the value of my old masters, but I hope you will understand this is the only way of regaining the sense of pride I once had when hearing these songs from my first 6 albums, and also allowing my fans to listen to those albums without feeling guilt of benefiting Scooter Braun.
Exactly.
You go, girl.
And do you know who's getting credit? I don't know that this is fact. This is just Twitter. So Twitter is never, ever for fact. And I don't know that she's actually getting credit for it, but an old tweet from Kelly Clarkson resurfaced from 2019 when she told Taylor, just thought you should go and re-record all the songs that you don't own the masters and put brand new art on it and maybe some incentives so fans will no longer buy the old versions. I'd buy all the new versions just to prove a point.
Exactly.
So people are saying, is that what caused this? Did Kelly Clarkson put that in her mind? I mean, Taylor Swift is the most genius person ever. So I don't think, thank you, Kelly, for the great idea, but I think Taylor's mind was already working that way. But it's still cool that someone else is like, hey, you should do this.
Especially
this is what I would do.
Someone like Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, another big artist in the industry who has been around long enough to kind of be able to speak her mind if she wants to.
Yeah. And it's really cool because we've known about the re-recordings for a while since she first said, I'm going to just re-record them, own everything. And for a while we were like, is she really going to re-record every single song?
Right.
Will it be a greatest hits album? Like, how is this going to work? And now that we have the re-recorded Fearless and we know she's doing all of them, the fact that she's going and taking the time to re-record every single song to make it sound almost identical, which we're going to break down in our future episodes, the power in that, the power move that holds, like, if I didn't love her already, I think that's incredible. I think that is absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for the re-recordings. I'm so excited for Taylor's version, everything. I want a shirt that just says Taylor's version. Like, feel free
Can I get a shirt with my name, Nick? Taylor's version.
In parentheses.
Taylor. Everyone's name, Taylor's version. That'd be great.
13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast.
Taylor's version. Yay!
Okay, so did we miss anything? Yes, I'm sure. Are you still listening to this podcast? Hopefully. If we missed anything, our contact information is in the description of this podcast. Let us know your thoughts, what we missed, your favorite things that Taylor said. Whatever it is, please tell us and we'll try and get in touch with you and talk to you on a future podcast. So join us on our next podcast when we're going to start breaking down Fearless, Taylor's version. We're starting at track number 1, Fearless, Taylor's version.
Thanks for listening to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.